What's up, YouTube? Today we have what is, in common parlance, the Apache Thorn, but was made by TACTIKOWL GEAR, I think is the name of the creator. Oops, sorry, bumped it. And his design is very, very ergonomic. And I've just ordered a set of brass knuckles from the gentleman. I'm going to link his page down below. I may roll it in right here, but I also may not, because sometimes, I keep bumping it. Sorry, guys. Working with YouTube is fairly frustrating a lot of the time. Like just doing the stuff. It's just not like made like it should be. It's it's free, so obviously it reflects that. And he calls this, I believe, the argots, I believe it's called. The name of the piece will be down below with some verbiage about it. I was lucky enough to get this from a gentleman who basically just needed the cash, kind of like us knife collectors. I feel like some people collect so many of something, and then they're like, man, I have so many of these weird killing devices that I never use, which is good. It's good to, like, I think life jackets get more use because you do float in the water, but what first of all stands out to me, the plastic, and I'll do a video with the plastic one. I don't have it on me because I only carry so many of these things at once. And I also forgot. But the plastic version of this, some of you are going to be instantly familiar with, because it has the impact portion here. It has arms, and then it has something on the bottom. But that other one, because it's not ergonomic like this one is, it makes more sense to have it in the middle, something like this. But as soon as you get something like this in your hand, I can see why this was relatively inexpensive for something like this. I think it cost me $85 shipped from a gentleman. But as soon as you get something like this in your hand, you're really made aware that this is a well-crafted, thought-out, well chamfered. Man, keep knocking it, but I don't know if the gentleman before me hit something with this, probably in jest, or if it's just an imperfection. You can see the imperfection on the tip. I don't mind that it has an imperfection. I mean, I think it is an imperfection though. It would just take a lot to do this, and also the very tippy point of it is fine. So granted, you can't, it's not a mirrored set of knuckles where you can grab them out of your pocket or off a desk or out of a bag or some kind of carry case on your belt. But we're gonna get a little boring here for a second, and we're gonna hit this thing again. This is kind of where the philosophy of use comes in, where this is a trade-off, obviously, because brass knuckles, they're bigger, they're easier to use. This is going to take a little bit of precision striking. Brass knuckles you can hit with the hammer blows, and also the reverse hammer blows, and you can abrade skin by slashing down, like say if you were to use the RMJ Tactical set of knuckles that I just got, and we're just on the channel. I mean, you could slash it across somebody's face and do some serious damage. This would be harder, but also, say something is turning sideways, as they say, and you are prepared. Get ready, everybody. This is gonna rock. Yeah, okay, that wasn't that bad. You're fishing it, you're reaching into your back pocket, and you're finding it. This argument's heating up, and it's a scary one. It's one where you might have to defend yourself against multiple attackers or someone that's going to do you physical harm. And you get this, and you can just have this in your hand and have your hand kind of loosely at your side, or have it ready to go, like balled up. And this is something that I don't really think, especially if you had a jacket on, you could put your hand in. You do that with knuckles too, but especially this. This like is fairly hidden. All you see is copper, well, this is brass, I believe, but a fairly skin-toned piece of metal sticking out. And the gentleman that I got this from, hang on, I'm looking at this through the viewer to decide for real, is this, I don't know if it's an impact. I don't know if that's because of an impact. This little imperfection. But he works in healthcare, I believe, as an emergency room person or as some sort of first responder-esque person. And he said I had brain bleeding written all over it. I tend to agree. This would definitely hurt, and it would make things like, if you've ever done martial arts, like sternum strikes, this would definitely hurt. It would you'd probably want to run away if you got hit with this in your sternum. Any blow to the head may be fatal. This is still, I believe, lethal force. And I think anybody else that knows what's going on would also say that's lethal force. Except the people that don't believe this is lethal force are trying to sell you something, whether it's some kind of program or fighting style, stuff like that. You know, if they run a gym and they're one of the goofballs that is like intentionally teaching people to hold knuckles, like so the knuckles go across this way instead of, you know, that's just silly. But yeah, this kind of opens up the quote, you know, if we were to say ball game, to different plays, different tactics, different strategies. So if you're interested in obtaining something like this, it's going to cost a lot more than $85. But go to Arizona Custom Knives, and I think that's the name of it. I will put it in the description as well. And then search for Apache Thorn. And there is a history behind this. The history is that you know, there was in France, I believe the story goes, there was this underground group of bad guys, quote unquote bad guys, that were criminals, and they were thieves, and they were muggers, and they were ne'er-do-wells. And they used things like this, I guess. Maybe that's true, maybe it's not. You know, if you've been with this channel any amount of time, you've heard me talk about the story with the Duke. The Duke has a very scary history. It's also very interesting. But how much of it is true, how much of it is not, kind of like the stuff, like the one-armed veterans knives, so to speak, being made for veterans of the Civil War. Like, is that true? I'm sure there's some truth to it. But, you know, some of the knives that we, you know, show on this channel regularly are called one-arm razors, and you cannot open them with just one arm. So it is what it is. This will be back on the channel, I'm sure, at some point. Definitely to compare and contrast it to the other device I had mentioned earlier. That's all she wrote for this one. Thanks for sticking with me to the end. Hope you folks have a great rest of your day. Bye now.